Evaluate the value of negative 2 whole to the power 5. So, by definition, we know that negative 2 whole raised to 5, it means that we are multiplying negative 2 5 times. So, we have negative 2 multiplied with negative 2 multiplied with negative 2 multiplied with negative 2. So, since here we have in each term we have a negative. So, for all odd powers, the negative, that means negative 1 into negative 1, we have positive 1. If you are multiplying negative 1 into negative 1 into negative 1, that means multiplying negative 1 3 times, we have negative 1 as our answer. So, for all odd powers of negative 1 raised to n, we have negative term, and for all even power, the negative term cancel and it turns to be positive terms. So, negative 1 whole raised to 2n, that is always positive, and negative 1 whole raised to 2n plus 1, that is always negative. So, similarly here we have 5 terms which is a odd number. So, we always have a negative in our answer. So, when simplify this, we have minus 2 raised to 5 which is equal to minus 32. Okay. Similarly, minus 3 raised to 4 which is equal to, we are multiplying negative 3 4 times. So, something like this. Now, what is negative 3 into negative 3 which is equal to positive 9? There also we have a positive 9. So, 9 multiplied with 9 which is equal to 81. Now, let us see another term, negative 7 the whole cube. So, negative 7 multiplying 3 times. So, negative 7 into negative 7, that is positive 49. Now, negative 7 multiplied with 49 which is equal to minus 343. Okay. So, here we are multiplying negative 3 times. So, we have a 3 negative in our answer. If you are multiplying for odd number of terms, always we have a negative, and if you are multiplying for even number of terms, our answer will have no negatives. So, now let us evaluate what is negative 8 whole to the power minus 5. We know that negative 8, this is can be written as negative 2 the whole cube, right? Because here we have a negative term, so I can express negative 8 as negative 2 the whole cube, whole to the power 5, whole to the power negative 5. Now, this is of the form a raised to m the whole raised to n. So, a raised to m the whole raised to n, that is equal to a raised to mn. So, we have negative 2 whole raised to 15 minus 15, 3 into minus 5 which is minus 15. Now, any term, that is if I have a negative 32, what does that mean? It is negative 1 times 32, right? So, here we have a negative 1 times 2 raised to minus 15. So, negative 1 times 15, what is that? Negative 15 is an odd number. So, negative 1 to the power 15 which is negative term. So, negative multiplied with, I can express 2 raised to minus 15 as 1 by 2 raised to 15. So, when simplify, we have minus 1 by 2 to the power 15. What is the value of 3 square the whole raised to minus 3? We know that a raised to m the whole raised to n, that is equal to a raised to mn. So, this can be expressed as 3 raised to 2 into minus 3 which is equal to negative 6. Now, 3 raised to negative 6 can be expressed as 1 by 3 raised to x. Why? What is the reason? Because we know that 3 raised to minus 6, this is nothing but 3 raised to 0 minus 6. Okay. Now, this is of the form a raised to m minus n. So, a raised to m minus n can be expressed as a raised to m by a raised to n. So, this one can be expressed as 3 raised to 0 divided by 3 raised to 6. Now, we know that 3 raised to 0, that is equal to 1. So, our answer will be 1 by 3 raised to 6. Now, we can go for next one, minus 3 the whole raised to 5 divided by minus 3 the whole raised to minus 6. So, this is of the form a raised to m divided by a raised to n, and that is equal to a raised to m minus n. So, here you can see that we have same base and different powers. So, you can use this one as minus 3 whole raised to m. Our m is equal to 5. M minus our n is equal to negative 6. So, minus of minus 6. Okay. Now, what is 5 minus of minus 6? We have minus 3 whole raised to 5 plus 6. Now, what is this one? This is equal to negative 3 whole raised to 11. Now, what is negative 2 whole raised to minus 6 divided by negative 2 whole raised to minus 3? Here our powers is accompanied with a negative 2, but we have same base. So, a raised to m by a raised to n is equal to a raised to m minus n. So, we have a raised to, our a is negative 2 whole raised to our m, that is minus 6 minus minus 3. Now, what is negative into negative turns to be positive, which is equal to minus 2 whole raised to minus 6 plus 3, which is equal to minus 2 whole raised to minus 6 plus 3, which is equal to minus 3. So that's our final answer. Next one, what is the value of negative 7 whole raised to minus 6 divided by negative 7 whole raised to minus 9? So this is also of the form a raised to m upon a raised to n. So this is equal to a raised to m. M is minus 6 minus 9. Now what is negative of negative? It is positive. So this is equal to minus 7 whole raised to negative 6 plus 9, which is equal to negative 7 raised to the power negative 6 plus 9, which is equal to positive 3, which is negative 7 whole raised to 3. Next one, 5 raised to 11 multiplied with 2 raised to 8 upon 2 raised to minus 3. So I can write this one as 5 raised to 11, this dot for me it's multiplication, 5 raised to 11 multiplied with 2 raised to 8 upon 2 raised to minus 3. So now you know this is of the form a raised to m upon a raised to n, and here we have a negative 3. So this is equal to 5 raised to 11 into 2 raised to 8 minus 3, which is equal to 5 raised to 11 into negative of negative, that is positive, 8 plus 3. So 5 raised to 11 into 2 raised to 11. Now what is, if we have same power and different base, we know that a raised to m into b raised to m, that is equal to ab whole raised to m. So this one is 10 to the 10 whole raised to 11. Next one, what is the value of 3 raised to minus 5 into 3 raised to 7 multiplied with 3 raised to minus 3 into 3 raised to 4 divided by the same stuffs with different power. So here you can see this is of the form a raised to m into a raised to n in the numerator part, also in the denominator part. So here we have same base in the numerator with different exponents. So you can all add the entire powers. So 3 raised to minus 5 plus 7 minus 3 plus 4. We are adding the entire powers because we have same base. Divided by, here also you can add the same, add the entire powers. So 3 raised to 2 minus 2 plus minus 4. Okay. Now what is in the numerator? Here you have minus 3 plus 1, which is equal to positive 1. So 7 plus 1, 8. Negative 5 plus 8, that is equal to 3. Divided by, here you can cancel out positive and negative 2. Remaining will be negative 4. Now this one is of the form here a raised to m upon a raised to n. So you can subtract them. So 3 raised to 3. 3 raised to 3 into 3 raised to minus of minus 4. Basically here it is 3. So you have 3 raised to 3 plus 4. Negative of negative, which is positive, 3 plus 4, 3 raised to 3 plus 4, and that is equal to 3 raised to 7. Here it is basically 3 because a raised to m into a raised to n. So 3 raised to 3, negative of negative, that turns to be positive. So 3 raised to 3 plus 4, which is 7. So the answer is equal to 3 raised to 7.